It's good to see all of you. Very much. It's good to see all of you. For those of you we haven't seen for the year so far, happy new year and happy new Rotary year to each one of you. We're so happy to have visiting with us. Our DG, please give DG David a round of applause. But I feel here also give him a hand on. Also, and we're back. It's good to have them here with us this morning, and we want to. This afternoon, thank you very much.
Yes.
We had a very successful board meeting this morning, this afternoon.
Oh my
That's how many
goodness.
meetings I was in on.
Yeah.
I tell you from this morning, but it's good to have what we hear. One of the main things, of course, Rotary, is we always want to make a difference. That's the main thing about what we want to do as a club. So I'm going to invite you to stand as we invite you to come.
Good afternoon. Those of you who know the Rotary Grace, let us pray. Grant, O Lord, the true spirit of service above self. Enter our hearts, and that our every act be guided by the four tenets of Rotary. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Remain standing as we do our royal toast. And ask Raquel to come and do our royal toast. Raquel?
Parents and guests, please raise your glasses as we give a toast to the King and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Of course, we always like to welcome those persons who are visiting. If we have any visitors in the room and also online, we want to give you a special welcome. Anyone visiting with us? Let's start in the room. Any visiting persons with us? Guests, come on. And we're gonna let you stand. Please stand and give us your name and who invited you. If you don't know who invited you, Keno invited you. We get going ahead.
Hi, my name is Diane Campbell, and I was invited by Mr. Dwayne Spade.
All right. Dwayne, come on. Dwayne, go ahead.
And afternoon, my name is Yvette Pinder,
Yvette Pinder.
and I was also invited by Dwayne Spade.
Okay, the witness on the road. Thank you very much, Dwayne. And of course, Dwayne, make sure that those names are passed over to ourselves so we can encourage them to join. Do we have any persons online? Any persons online who are visiting with us?
Yes, I bring you greetings from the great north. It's Mike from the Rotary Water Plant and the Rotary Club of Freeport.
Hi, Mike. Come on, give it up for Mike. Anyone else online? Is that Michael Johnson? Looks like a gray man.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mike.
President, fellow Rotarians, good afternoon. Michael Johnson, past president of the Rotary Club of Kingston East and Port Royal.
Oh, great. Right in the house. Wonderful. Anyone else online? Well, that's our guest. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Of course, we had Mike and Michael and who's that? Mike, we are visiting Rotarians. Any other visiting Rotarians we have inside in the house? No one else?
Christine, thanks, Jason visits up.
Oh, come on.
Christina Capaldi from the Cayman Islands.
All right. Of course, it's good to have persons who are visiting with us. Of course, we always want to make you feel welcome as a part of this stuff. We're gonna do something a little different. We'll do something a little different in our club. We always want people to feel welcome. So I'm gonna ask you to just stand up, go around, shake a person's hand, give them a nice Rotary Club of Nassau welcome. We, of course, the first club. So stand your feet and go ahead and shake. We're not a stuffy club. So go around, touch the person, just shake their hand I'd say welcome. Just welcome to the Rotary Club of Nassau. Give them a hug.
White Cross.
I'm your bro.
Huh?
I'm your bro. Come on, some of the others, and this is what Rotary is all about. So connecting with other Rotarians, with guests, visitors. Steve, it's good to see you, my friend. Good to have you. Owen?
No, I get my.
All right, let's come on back in your seats. My goodness, don't treat this like church now. Don't treat this like church. You want to go back to your seats? I might as well just get an offering plate. Okay. While you're going back to your seats, it's good to have assistant district Rotary Governor Devard. There he is, Devard, right in time.
Well, I'm not a governor, but okay.
Your assistant, it's good to have Devard with us today. We have all the great celebrities with us today. All right, let's set right now. We're gonna go right into our remarks. I'm going to hear from our DG today, and he has a lot to share with you in terms of this presentation. So I'm gonna call our president to come, bring some remarks, and also any announcements that he has to bring us up today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kino. RCN?
Together.
RCN?
Together.
Okay, good to see all of you. And again, some I've not seen for the year, so happy New Year to you. Good to have all of you come and join us. Jamal, you came late. You know, well, you're late.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, you're fine. We only go to DGC and we want to keep our meeting sanitized, and so I would not take any jokes this afternoon.
Yes. You saw how much you might want to do, huh?
Right?
I get it.
It really is good to see all of you. This is really very special. Thankful to those who have come in person and those who are joining us online. We're certainly looking forward to this afternoon. Just by way in terms of quick announcements. You would have seen circulating into the WhatsApp group the information with respect to the service project that we have for this coming Saturday the 20th. And so we're looking forward to the participation of all of you. What it really is that one of the goals for one of the obligations for the month is really to partner with another service club, more specifically with the Kiwanis Club. And so we've been able to have the efforts made between our club and the Kiwanis Club to be able to have the support given to the Freedom Baseball grouping, put it like that. And so they've asked of us to come and join them in their church service, not so much the church service itself, but to provide water for the boys and girls as they were to make their movement from the church to Freedom Park. So they asked to assemble at the various water spots to provide water for them. So we're looking forward to all of you coming and joining us at that time, to assist the boys and girls in that effort. So that's what's happening on this coming Saturday. We have also mentioned week before the sipping things. The candle making, I get that
Yes.
term correctly.
Correct.
And so again, that's going to remain as we would have announced on last week. The ticket sales, as far as I'm made aware, they're going extremely well. Those of you who haven't bought your tickets yet, I'm encouraging you to get your tickets either for myself or Chantal or other committee members. to be able to have a successful event, as we would have announced on last week. So those are the things we're looking forward to your participation on by way of announcement. Did I miss anything, Francina?
No.
I'm sure you would say. I mean, it's a very quick, you can make sure that I don't. Yes, anybody.
So you want to mention the social? So the social, did you have it?
I think I also want to say. We were talking last week in respect to the function that we have planned and also in respect to, as a part of the observance of the DG being here in the country. The function in respect to the DG's social will continue at Crypto Isle on next week Friday. To my understanding, that event is going to go into the wee hours of the morning, I suppose. And so Christina, you're gonna have a good time to party.
I'm ready.
They may, Christina, bring a jumping group, I'm not sure. But let me tell you what the criteria is. Any other group whose first name does not start with G, do not dance.
Okay.
You may hear them saying things like Saxons and the Valley Boys, ignore them. Okay?
Wow.
That's
Only
fine.
one true group.
Wow, that is.
Only one true group.
Okay, ignore them.
Sound president.
It is very painful, it's very painful. Okay, so ignore them, okay? But as the event will continue, the encouragement to all of us is that at the end of our event, because the DG social will continue, you're invited to come over to Crypto Isle and the party will continue. And so that's the encouragement for next week, Friday. So we look forward to all of you joining. I'm especially pleased, and we don't want to take up too much time from our DG who's going to come and bring remarks. But I think it's only fitting that I was able to receive the communication from Marino. I think it's only fitting just very quickly, and we're certainly delighted someone to have you here with us. And I'm sure if they told you that you should have had a speech prepared, you didn't have it. But you don't, you always prepared. So I'm going to invite you this time to come and bring very quick remarks to our club. It's certainly good to have you. So let's come on, let's get a wonderful round of applause. If I were an unpaid, I would say, however the spirit leads you, but I'm always the spirit has led you. Right, so however the spirit leads you.
All right, thank you, President Dyer. Unfortunately, I have not tapped the spirit as yet. It's just been sitting on my desk, but good afternoon at the table. Good afternoon, Rotary Club of Nassau, the oldest club. It is a pleasure to be here in the Bahamas. I'm from the BVI. Forgive me if I mix up these please. But yes, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been here since I arrived on Thursday, but I immediately went to the Luther on Friday and I spent some time with the Luther Club and the island of Utah to get in, got a nice tour and everything like that. And the visit is going to continue with meeting with the different Rotary boards, meeting with the clubs. I've had a welcome fellowship last night. I'm good, I'm standing strong. We didn't so that went well, but my intention is just to take in the Bahamas, be with the clubs, support the clubs and find out any areas that they need guidance or encouragement from and to receive the Bahamas. So thank you again for having me and I look forward to the rest of my time in the Bahamas. Thank you.
We're so delighted that you've come and joined with us this afternoon. And so this is a small memorabilia that you can take back to you to the BVI.
Wait, no photo? I guess not today.
This is a junk food drawing. Okay? Sure.
Oh, you're ready. You put the ball. All right.
Stay there.
You need a picture for you want to people? Okay.
Any further members about this,
Yeah, just one other thing before I bring. Of course, as a club, one of the questions that was asked to us by the DJ was, of course, this being the oldest club, he asked, do we have any of our original charter members? And that was a very interesting question, because we all looked around the table, and he said, our club is almost as old as Valentino, but we can leave that right there. But he asked us that question, and there's one thing with the club, we are 62 years old. The original and the first club in the Bahamas. There's one thing we like to do as a club, we like to give one of it, one is due. And today we're very happy to have one of our oldest members in Rotary Club of Nassau. We just walked in and he comes to just for every meeting. He was given about 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, the Heart of Rotary award, and we want to celebrate him as we honor all of our persons who have been in Rotary, have stuck with Rotary, and have always believed in the principles of Rotary. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to ask you to just sit. I'm happy to stand and give it up for Larry. Rotarian Larry. We want to celebrate him today and honor him today for being one of our oldest members.
Longest serving.
Longest serving members. Who's older than Larry in this room?
longest serving members.
Who's, no, listen to me. Who is older than Larry in this room? There you go. So not only is the longest serving, but he's also the oldest. So give it up for Larry again. You may be seated. Thank you so very much. It's always good to give honor to this person to want to celebrate with us. I'm going to invite Francina to come.
Thank you.
Larry, just hold on, Larry. Just before we have Francina come, Larry, why don't you say a word to a lot of our since in Rotary? Why don't you say a word to them? Some of your wise nuggets.
Fellow Rotarians, I think that it is an honor to for what you've done and what you said about me. But I think that the main thing, the best thing that has happened is that we've had you young people who have come in and moved our Rotary Club to even greater heights. For that, I adore you all.
All right, thank you very much. Our club is intergenerational. All right, so we're going to invite Secretary Francina to come and give the introductions to our district governor. Francina?
RCN.
Together.
Rotarian David Capaldi was born in 1968 in Montego Bay, Jamaica. In 1970, his parents moved to the Cayman Islands, where they have made their home ever since. David was educated through high school in Grand Cayman, then attended Loyola University of New Orleans, graduating in 1992 with a BA in communications. On returning to the Cayman Islands, David first worked with Atlantic Submarines before starting a 6-year stint with Esso Standard Oil, working at the Cayman headquarters as the local marketing executive. In 1998, David and his wife Christina founded Massive Equipment Rentals and Sales Limited, a construction equipment rental business. The company has grown over the past 25 years and today employs over 40 staff, has a branch office in Cayman Brac, and holds the Multi-Equip and JCB heavy equipment dealership for the Cayman Islands. In addition to the rental business, the group now includes a digital advertising and marketing company, Massive Media Limited, and a retail fireworks business, Fireworks Limited. David is married to Christina Godfrey, who is originally from Mandeville, Jamaica, and moved with her family to the Cayman Islands in 1977. Hey, Christina. David and Christina are the proud parents of a son, Ryan, who is a graduate of Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, and a daughter, Taylor, a graduate of University of Leeds in the UK. Outside of work life, David and Christina enjoy travel and pickleball, and are members of the Cayman Islands Baptist Church. David is also a PDI dive master and loves spin cycling. David joined the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman in 1995 and was president in 2000. He served as the assistant governor for the Cayman Islands, the district endowment and major gifts subcommittee chair. And David is passionate about the Rotary Foundation, supporting it since starting his Rotary journey. He is a major donor level 1, Bequest Society level 1, and a benefactor. Christina is also a Paul Harris Fellow and a future Rotarian. RCN, please stand and welcome DG David Nicole.
Fantastic. Is this okay here or please see it. Okay, can everybody hear me okay on Zoom? So thank you very much for that very kind introduction, which I am here in all confidence to tell you is the best one and the most recent one that I've received today. I also do appreciate the fact that the publicity photo that you used to make sure people, came out in their droves for the meeting today, and clearly also on Zoom, was what I would like to refer to as my younger profile picture. I believe that one was actually taken when I was first appointed as AG. So I have definitely in the last 6 months put on the deep sort of 15, 20, if I'm being honest, pounds. And but it's an absolute pleasure to be here today. It's so awesome to be back in the Bahamas. I would say that, I could have rounded up all of our trips into one longer trip. But if I did that, I wouldn't have the opportunity to keep coming to places like this location and have the awesome conch fritters and the lovely food that we just had in a board meeting. And it's awesome to have now visited here in the Bahamas. This is our third trip between the summit. And then we came in for the foundation gala. And I'm being told that because I have not left enough money in the Bahamas, that I'm supposed to come back now for the $1 million dinner and be prepared to spend a lot more money. So I have judiciously decided not to bring Christina on that trip. So that will cut down your earnings by about half at least. It's an honor to be here today with DRR Selvin. Thank you for taking the time to do your tour, and how fortunate it is that we coincide here. We coincided last actually in Grand Cayman, where Selvin was doing his official tour, and we managed to overlap by a day and really had a wonderful time and an amazing function that Rotaract did in the presence of Her Excellency the Governor, raising awareness and also funds for a mental health charity in the Cayman Islands. So thank you for adopting wholeheartedly that focus. AG Valentino, thank you for all of your plans, organizing today's activities. I'm going to move this a little bit because it seems to be getting drama. But thank you for all you've done, and also AG Bain, who has, the two of you, you've done amazing work in preparing for this trip. And Darren, thank you so much for your preparation for the board meeting today and for our open and honest conversation about some of the issues and challenges, but also the great successes of this oldest and most storied club here in the Bahamas. founded before, I believe, my parents even got married, so it's been a long time, but it's amazing to be here, and it's fantastic that this is our first club on our official visit. This is the first club of the Bahamas. I think at this point I'm supposed to say RCN. RCN. In speaking, always say, do something to ingratiate yourself to the audience, and that was it. In case and it's an awesome international meeting. So we've got Mike from Freeport, I believe. Mike is pumping clean, fresh water over there in the Rotary Waterhouse. We've got Mike from Jamaica, former district treasurer. Thank you for joining. We've got David from Canaan. And of course, we have a visitor here. I'm not sure how well introduced you were. District Governor-elect Dominique is from Rotary Club of Petionville Sud. And there is a visitor with us today that is a member of Petionville Sud. Alex, thank you for taking the time to join us at Rotary Club Nation and doing a makeup. And also, good luck. I know Haiti is so proud of District Governor-elect Dominique's year coming up. So thank you for joining us, and it's a pleasure to meet you today. So just before coming in, I popped into the little boys' room, and I don't know who did it. I've seen some fairly naughty people in our board meeting today. But when I went to the restroom, I went to wash my hands, and somebody had taken, you know, those air blower things. Someone had taped over it and said, "Press here to hear a few words from our district governor." Not the coolest thing, but I have my suspicions as to who that might have been. But honestly, it's an awesome pleasure to be here. Quick bit of background for me, go over this real quickly. I have been a member of my Rotary Club in Grand Cayman. I was the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman for 28 years. I would say, a typical Rotarian. I know that this club had a real surge in membership over the COVID years, which was quite a unusual occurrence. Many clubs had challenges with membership over the COVID years, and you guys were quite successful in your recruiting efforts during that period of time. But the thing that happens as you come in without real work by the existing Rotarians that you found in the club that you joined is you sort of just coast along. You're kind of figuring things out. What is a AG, a PP, a PDG, all the acronyms that we use. The one to remember is RILA, RLI. RLI is coming up in just a few weeks' time here in the Bahamas, and it is an awesome program of Rotary learning. And I encourage you, especially if you're a new Rotarian, to sign up and join that either Saturday or the Saturday and Sunday for parts 1, 2, and or 3. But Rotary is full of acronyms, and you sort of sit there like, what is happening? What are all these names, letters, words? Until one day I made eye contact during the time of elections, and next thing you know, I was on the board. As if I hadn't learned my lesson well enough, I made eye contact again some years later, and I was on the road to becoming the club president. During that period of time, we'd had a president of our club, maybe known to some of the older members here in the Bahamas, David Foster. Foster's Food Fair is a big supermarket in the Cayman Islands. When he passed away, he had achieved 25 years of perfect attendance at a time when attendance was really challenging. You had 1 week to make up after your missed meeting. It then became sort of 2 weeks on either side, and then it became, you know, if you send me a telegram or a fax, we'll believe it. But it was a lot harder to achieve what he achieved back then. And I made a commitment to myself that I was going to get to that year, not for any other reason other than as an honor to his legacy. And my plan was to skip the meeting just before I officially hit 25 years. Well, I made it to 12 years. And unfortunately, I still get kind of choked up when I talk about this because I unfortunately got my dates wrong, and I did a makeup and realized afterwards that I had done it 1 day late on a 2-week plan. And I self-reported, and I actually got like, you know, very unmanly and sort of may have seen its hair, but I don't know, I just been sweaty. And I self-reported that I had missed that meeting, and basically my quest for those 25 years was done. What I found out shortly thereafter was that there is somebody in your club who is charged with calling you if they haven't seen you for many, many weeks, and your attendance has reached 30%. I usually have a bit of an arc of these things, and my wife knows, where she, Tina knows, that this is the first time I've actually done my talk in about 4 weeks because of finished with tours and pub visits since before Christmas. So I always get things a little bit wrong. But this is the point where I always say, for me, engagement was everything. I was doing this perfect attendance quest for the wrong reason. I was trying to get to this point that Dave Foster had reached. And when I no longer had that quest, it didn't really matter so much. But what was different during that time, up to those 12 years, was that I was engaged in the activities of the club because I was attending the activities of the club. I was attending in person, I was doing makeup activities and service projects, and I was involved in the club. The minute I was no longer as involved in the club, it all started to fall apart a little bit. And I really coasted through several years of, am I going to Rotary? I'll come up with a reason why I'm not going to Rotary today, or I didn't want to go to this makeup. And for me, one of my messages to every Rotarian that I talk to is engagement is everything. Be engaged in your club. Attend the in-person meetings if at all possible to do so. If you're on Zoom, make sure you have somebody on that Zoom call that is charged with filling in the gaps while perhaps there's some conversation happening or fellowship time in the in-person. But make sure that the meetings are engaging and that you are engaged in the meetings, and the number one way to do that is to attend. I was nominated 3 separate times for DG after spending a couple of years as AG. After every nomination and getting that sort of email saying, hey, thanks for everything, but not this time. I was devastated, like throwing the towel, like it's over, I'm done with this. I will say, as with all things in life, that initial reaction of, gosh, I'm the very best person this organization could have chosen this year, and how could they possibly have not? After every single time, I realized that I had so much more to learn. This organization is amazing. There are so many facets to it. You don't really know sometimes the things that you don't know until you put in a bit more time. And I thought I was ready the very first time I was nominated. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready the second time I was nominated. I'm here at a time and a place that I'm finally, I think, a little bit more ready. I'm still humbled by the fact that our district chose me. I think there are far more qualified persons in our district for this role, but it's humbling to me that I have this opportunity to travel and to hopefully inspire and move the needle just a little bit in clubs that are doing incredible things like yours since 1962. The moral of that little story is you'll have your ups and downs in Rotary. There are times when you just really can't be bothered with it. You're just not feeling it. Life has taken over, work, family. Stick with it. The one thing I did, even though I was having dunning letters sent to me and, you know, attendance notes sent to me, I stuck with it. I went and became better at online makeups and I stuck with it. And then I grew further in the organization when my time started to allow that to get better. Stick with it, persevere. It's an incredible organization and it needs your help. So what is Rotary? There's a couple of new or first time folks here. What is Rotary? We are the world's largest and the most effective service organization. In addition to that, we provide clean water to those without it. We feed the hungry, we battle and have almost eliminated polio. And we help people learn to read and to write so that they can compete in a modern workplace. Our vision statement within Rotary amplifies that to some degree. Together we see a world where people unite and they take action to create lasting change, excuse me, across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. Sorry, apologies. So what is the Rotary that I see? Some may say that I look through the world with rose-tinted glasses sometimes, but the song that we chose after discovering that there is often a district song chosen by the district governor, something that as a Rotarian of some 25 to 26 years at that point, I had completely overlooked. But we searched a whole bunch of songs and more importantly, looked at some of the lyrics. And once we knew that the mental health aspect was going to be a focus, we chose this song by Jimmy Cliff.
Speaking of my background.
It's a song by Jimmy Cliff, Wonderful World. I'm actually missing a slide here, a card. But it has an amazing lyric. So he talks about what's really awesome in the world, right? Men, women, boy, girl, let us try to lend a hand. This I know, and I'm sure that with love, we could all understand this is our world, can't you see? And for me, when I read that, I'm thinking that sounds like Rotary. That sounds like what we do in our clubs, in our communities, and in our countries. We are lending a hand to help humanity do just a little bit better tomorrow than they're doing today. And we do that in a group. But he goes on in that very catchy song to add sort of the dark side of things too. That in life, it's not always going to be fun and games. It's not always going to be happy and joy. Fussing, fighting, cheating, backbiting, scandalizing, lying, hating. These are also aspects of life that some people can take in, absorb, work with, figure out how to move forward, but others really have a big challenge with it. And that sort of leads on to what for me and for our international president, Gordon McInally, is a key focus area this year, and that is mental health and mental wellness. And I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk about a person in the Cayman Islands by the name of Addie Kelly. Addie was the daughter of one of our friends, Rhonda and Kirk Kelly. She's the exuberant life of the family, really just part of a loving family. She's the third of 3 daughters of Rhonda and Kirk. But unfortunately, she was the victim of abuse when she was younger. And unfortunately, further, that abuse was perpetuated by a family member. They did what quite probably many people in the Caribbean would do. Many people would do is to sort of deal with the situation internally, but not bring in the authorities and really sort of address it from a legal standpoint. I don't think that remedy that they chose is particularly different to the way a great number of people would choose to deal with a very disturbing and challenging situation. And they thought everything had gone okay, and she sort of progressed from that point quite normally until she hit adolescence. And that's when it kind of came back with almost like a PTSD, what had happened and what hadn't been properly dealt with, and that this person is still sort of within eyeshot from time to time. Addie struggled with mental illness. She struggled with mental health challenges that stem from that earlier abuse. Her family had resources. They had the financial resources to get the very best of care. And in the Cayman Islands, we have an amazing NGO, the Alex Panton Foundation. It's named after the son of our former premier, Wayne Panton, whose son unfortunately took his life by suicide just over a decade ago now. And that foundation's done a ton of research into the causes and reasons for adolescent, teenage, young persons' mental challenges. So they had a bunch of resources they were able to bring to bear, a lot of help and assistance. They even sent her to boarding school overseas that specialized in this area. Unfortunately, because she's of a mixed race background, she was even further abused and bullied by the kids in that school, which actually blows my mind that this happened in a school that is meant to be a nurturing and caring place, that because now of this racial background, she was further bullied. Sorry. So ultimately, the family brought her back to Cayman. She was on a suicide watch, and her dad came downstairs for just about 5-7 minutes to do something in the kitchen before going back upstairs and checking on her, and came up and found that she had been able to do what she had been trying to do and been prevented from doing through so many different ways for over several years. And as a dad, I just can't even imagine that. I don't know how you ever take that snapshot out of your head. I have to say that the use of this story was okayed by the Kelly family. In fact, they are being extremely proactive, and they now have a foundation that's linked to the Alex Panton Foundation in their daughter's name to raise funds and awareness of the challenges of bullying, of childhood sexual abuse, and just the whole gamut of mental health challenges. So they're trying to take this very devastating incident and make a positive from it long term. But what she went through, quite honestly, is something that a great number of young people can relate to. When I spoke at the district team training seminars in Miami, just about 11 months ago now, we found, Rotaractors, bless you all. But when you talk to Rotaractors, their phone is, they're sort of down like, they're doing this, right? They think you don't know that they're on the phone. But when you start talking about mental health and mental health challenges, everybody's focused, because particularly in that age range, the Rotaractors typically go through up to the around 30 years old typically. Everybody knows somebody that is suffering from depression. Everyone knows someone that is suffering from a form of anxiety. And a great number of that age range know someone who has either tried or was successful in taking their own life because of the pressures that they felt were coming down on them. So this is an issue that, particularly in that age range, is very prevalent. But I would dare say it's more so throughout all of our societies nowadays. And it's truly an unfortunate thing. And I think it's been exacerbated by the lockdowns of COVID and the fact that, especially for young people, the arc of their year was completely different to what might have been expected prior to that. And these things are coming back with a vengeance. So you may say, well, that's great. We accept what you're saying. We understand what you're saying, but how can we help? Like, we're not mental health professionals. Most of our clubs that we speak to do not have a mental health professional within them. We're very fortunate where some do. I'm not asking clubs to suddenly become therapists and counselors and go into it in that form. What I'm asking for clubs to do is to start conversations. Talking is the number one thing to help with this, and talking in a non-judgmental and a open way to just listen, talking with listening. So allow people to talk, and at the same time, yourself to listen. Conversations are number one thing. In our district this year, and I know Rotary Club, Rotary International, we love to add new chairpersons to our district team. I've added a new one too. But this one I really think is super important, and it can amalgamate with the health chairperson. But we have a district mental wellness chair. So Michelle Majid is our district mental health and wellness chair. Within each country, we have country coordinators, and then hopefully within each club, we have a club ambassador. And that person is really charged with taking information and making sure that your club program includes some activities around mental health and wellness, and that your board is aware of the activities or partnerships that are possible with other NGOs in this area. So I'd love for you guys, and I don't know through your reports if you've engaged with speakers on mental health topics, but I'd love for that to happen, or to happen again if it has already. To partner with NGOs that work in that area, to work with Rotaract or Interact. You've got 2 Interact clubs that you work with those clubs to have some targeted mental health and wellness activity where they know that you care about them, that they know that someone is listening, someone cares, and someone wants to do something to help, or just be in here to listen to for them. There are also a bunch of resources online. There's a Don't Bottle It Up campaign that was pushed by our RI president. And there are lots of resources in the Rotary Club of Mental Health and Wellness. You talk about innovative clubs. That club is set up purely to deal with mental health and wellness. So very cool and different. But ask each other from time to time, how are you doing? If you haven't seen them in a while, how are you doing? They're gonna say, okay, no, how are you really doing? Like, really just make sure that people know that your friend groups within Rotary, your club, make sure that they know that it is okay for you and for them, if they want to open a bit more, that it's okay to do so. When we were at the International Assembly, our RI President Gordon, he announced this theme, create hope in the world. And he also talked about peace building, conflict resolution, and mental health and wellness. I've chosen to really focus on the mental health and wellness area because I think it's so timely and so important right now. But for President Gordon, this is a very personal thing. His own brother took his life by suicide after decades of struggling with depression and anxiety. For me, I can't imagine how brave it is for this gentleman to go up on stage and talk to all the incoming district governors of the world and ask them to in turn talk to clubs about a topic that particularly in the Caribbean context is often brushed under the carpet, is often sort of put behind the scenes. So that's why I'm here talking about a topic that's somewhat sensitive, but it needs to be talked about. Okay, I encourage you to do that. And particularly, I would like to say to men that, again, in the Caribbean context, a man is often put on this pedestal that he can, he has to be strong, he can't show weakness, he can't show uncertainty about something. President Gordon wants everyone to be delivered the message from him on this topic, that putting up your hand, particularly a gentleman, putting up your hand and saying, I don't have all the answers. I don't know how I'm dealing with this topic. There's one more straw and it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back and I need to talk to someone about it. This is the bravest thing you can do. It is not a sign of weakness. And I encourage you, gentlemen, to talk. If you feel like you can't, it is okay to talk. So what do I want to leave you with? That is the point in time when everyone goes, oh my gosh, she's almost done. Is that funny, huh? That's easy. What I want to leave you with, number one, and this is most important, and we've talked about it a lot today, sign up for the Rotary Conference in the Cayman Islands. Actually, I haven't talked about it at all, but that is the number one thing. Make sure you sign up. We're going to have an amazing conference in the Cayman Islands. And I know that you guys are going to have a conference here in just a couple of years' time in Lindsay's year. So we're looking about 3 years down the line. So come to Cayman. Many of you may be on planning committees. Come to Cayman and take notes. See how it's done. You know what I'm saying? No, it's going to be an amazing time. And it's very intentionally when we send out all the information, we don't keep calling it the district conference or the district 7020 PETS assembly and conference. We are very intentionally calling it the Create Hope 2024 conference. So I want to get stories from your club, from the other clubs on the Bahamas, from the clubs in Haiti, from the clubs all around the world, our district. I want to get stories. We're looking for stories, and there will be a form being sent out shortly, so that when we're having the transitions between speakers, we can talk about the things that your clubs have done to help to create hope in the communities that you serve. Our conference is going to be a lot of storytelling. Hopefully you will see, if you've been to many in the past, that it's not quite the same conference as in the past. I really want you to come away inspired and fired up for the new year with a new president coming into your clubs. Remember that we are people of action. I always keep reminding to myself that our wheel, our rotary gear wheel, has a little notch in it, and that is something that is called a keyway. You can jam a piece of metal in, and in jamming that metal into the keyway, it locks onto the spindle that the gear is placed onto. Without it, the gear will just spin and do no action. We are people of action. We don't come to the lunch and then we don't do anything to serve our communities for the next week and come back again. We talk about problems that we've seen as we drove here. We talk about an issue that we know is happening, and together we put our minds to figuring out how to solve that problem through collective action, as opposed to just one of us trying to do something. Always remember that we are people of action, and by engagement in your club, you'll know how to find ways to serve your communities. Incorporate mental health. That's our number 3 item. Make sure you're always thinking out ways to incorporate some awareness around mental health and well-being, and engage with each other, engage in your community. I always say that Paul Harris didn't start Rotary to cure polio. We're so close. Paul Harris did not start Rotary to bring clean, fresh drinking water to every commune in Haiti through a hand wash program. But we're slowly making progress in that area too. He started it for fellowship. He moved to a big city from a little town, and he didn't know anyone. They put an ad in the paper back then and brought a group of guys together, and they fellowshipped and agreed to meet again next week to do the same thing until it became a formalized grouping and grew from there. For me, Rotary is about fellowship. If we are not fellowshipping and we're not engaging, then we're not serving. We need to not just serve because everything else starts to fall apart. We need to not just do international projects and ignore our own people, because it will fall apart. Fellowship and enjoying each other's company is the well from which everything else flows. And I encourage you as a club to always keep that in the front. Because through that fellowship, through the work that you do, you will create hope in your area and your community. You will create hope in the Bahamas. And by extension, that hope will ripple out across the world and create hope in the world. And I thank you so very much for your attention today.
Thank you very much, J.P. David, for a very inspiring speech. And we certainly take the words you've shared with us to implement them in our life and also in our club. And we're really challenged what you shared, and really speaking about mental wellness, mental illness. It is something that we do embrace in our club. We look forward to really continuing programs that we challenge us to bring them on board. Are there any questions or comments anybody can forward before? Now, did you give it obviously? Any questions?
I do have two things. Number one, I hope I spoke long enough because you did say to speak long enough that the sergeant might have to be cancelled. And what I would like to do is to present you, you're doing the same thing. Present you with one of my banners, small version of the podium banner as a token of appreciation for all that you do and for all the hospitality that you've shown Christina and myself through our visit and through the next couple of weeks. And just a small token of thank you for everything you do as president. So you likewise. Outstanding. Good.
One more. Hold it. You pulled the funny face, really. How many times have you had your photo taken? One more. There we go.
Thank you.
If I can invite you again. So on behalf of our club again, we want to give you a small memorabilia that you can take back with you.
Right. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm going to invite Shelby to come. Christina? Christina, would you come, please? Christina.
Let's give me your pins. Definitely not to be left out. I think our gift will. Oh, thank you. Oh, very good. Oh, yes. Oh, I love that. You know? It's like that would be. Thank you, guys. That's beautiful. Me to the other islands.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. Thank you.
Okay, any raffles, lines?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the distinct pleasure to impose fines. All right, and I see that today we have a lot of infractions. I will suggest, Reverend Shelby, I will start with myself. I was late. And I see that our able membership chair, acted as sergeant, and I appreciate that.
very much, but yes, I'll start off the fines. I'll start with my $5. Shadow, Class President Shadow will come back. This is $100, Danny, like my $95 back, please.
No, we don't get change.
All right, thank you very much.
No, sir.
Apart from me now, there's a number of infractions that I saw. Personally, those of you who committed those, such as Jamie, I see you not paying attention to Jamie. You, Sabrina, who else I saw? I think Money was okay today. But I'm gonna find Sabrina and Jamie for not only coming late, but also for being very disruptive. I think the president was speaking. I think you gave the DG the respect that is due. But please impose the extra $5, $10 for each of them, please. Larry, you came in late. You have a pass today, as you would always have a pass with me, Larry, for all the great works and achievements. So you still see. Please look at Larry as an example. He's getting a pass, but he's still contributing. Okay. DG, I must say, I'm much impressed here of your humor. And I tell you, by that alone, I am looking forward to coming to the table and see all that you have about. Sheila, you gave me a big hug today. And, I really enjoyed that, Sheila. Yeah. All right, so, should I be collecting all the fines, right? Oh, Danny's
yes,
fines.
Danny,
Okay, all right. Well, I do have, yeah, one bill.
One bill?
Just if I can find it, I put it down. Come on.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go for the raffles.
Raffle, yeah, okay, good. You see the raffle prize? The nice.
Oh,
The prize is one champagne. One more round, anybody want to, before we turn it in? Anybody else want to get a raffle before we?
Take it out there.
Okay, allow one of our. Yeah, look. All right, thank you so much. Okay, anybody have 26? 26. 26. 26. Really? Okay, congratulations.
Take your photos.
All right, I invite you all kindly to stand if you do a 4-way test. Is Ryan online?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, all right.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?
Yes. So then I was going to invite PDG Larry. Kind sisters. If you could come forward, I'm not sure if this mic is good in this move. That's right.
I don't need a mic, that's
Oh.
to all you Rotarians and guests who are here. And those Rotarians zooming with us on here. Let's join with Rotarians every week in a toast. Rotary all over the world. Rotary all over the world.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming in person. Thank you those online. But have a very pleasant afternoon. Okay, we can just all gather on this side to have a photo, please.